How does...
No, it's...
City in Colour is the recording alias of Canadian singer-songwriter Dallas Green, who plays a kind of melodic alternative rock, kind of bluesy, kind of a folky music. It's you know, he's a cool guy. He's actually very talented. And today we're talking about a new album of his.
Are we?
Yep. If I should go before you.
Yep.
First of all,
Track one.
I really enjoyed the guitar work on this album.
Yes.
More than I've enjoyed guitar work on any new album for quite some time, I think. I haven't heard any amazing new guitar work on any albums recently, apart from this one. And, yeah, how do you feel about that?
I want to make a very sweeping generalization about
Holy
this entire
fucking
album.
shit.
People are going to be offended. Some people are going to die.
Yeah.
Let's get ready.
Okay. I feel as though this guy... Do you know what his name is? Because City in Colour is one Canadian...
Yeah, I opened it up. I said Dallas Green.
Yeah, Dallas Green.
Dallas. Or Dal, you know.
Big D.
Yeah. Carry on.
Anyway, I feel as though Dallas
Yeah.
is an incredible guitar player.
Yeah?
And he spent his entire life playing guitar and
Yeah.
learning how to play guitar as well as he possibly could.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he never learned how to write an actual song.
Are you flipping me?
No.
Are you genuine in your opinion?
I feel as though this entire album can be summarized as all right songs with really good guitar playing.
Wow. I thought the songwriting was on point.
I thought it was on point. Even the songs I didn't like, I thought they were written well. I just thought they were written sort of too poppy and simple.
Yes, I felt towards the end of the album they got...
Towards the end of the album, it became sort of country pop rock.
Yeah,
It was good country pop rock, but it
Towards
was
the
just
end.
country.
It became quite... It was formulaic.
Yes,
Well,
towards the end.
I think it picked up with a couple of songs towards the end, but...
But a lot of the stuff like Runaway, Lover Come Back,
Map of the World,
Friends, these sort of ones were just sort of like poppy country sort of rock jams, and they got a bit boring. I don't think they were bad, but they were boring, especially compared to the beginning of the set.
Yeah, I felt a little deceived after the first 3 songs, which I absolutely adored. I thought it was so like such a special like sound. Woman, the opener,
I think the song is incredible.
absolutely
I
incredible.
think this song is the best song on the album.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is
I
as
think
well.
it's definitely in my top 2. I'm not sure which is my first or second, but it's up there. It's so good. It has awesome progression, great vocals, interesting sounds. The non-standard guitar stuff that's going on in the stereo is awesome. It builds to a really satisfying crescendo, and it, unlike the album we were looking at before, its progression is always solid, I think. It's always adding new things that are interesting, and it's constantly adding new things.
And for a 9-minute song, it
feels-
never
yeah.
gets boring.
Yeah, for a 9 minute, I didn't realise it was 9 minutes until I heard it for like the 4th time. I always thought it was like a 3-minute song.
Sometimes when
It
you're listening
really
to songs,
grabs
you
by balls.
can tell if they're too long or too short by like, even with 3-minute songs sometimes, you'll get 2 minutes in and be like, when's this going to end? And you'll check and you'll be like, oh, it's only been 2 minutes. But with this, I was like, this is getting good, and I was like, I'm still enjoying this, but how much longer is it going on? Because I feel like it's been quite long now, and I was thinking like, oh, this might be like a 5-minute song. I checked, and I was at 8 minutes, and I was like, whoa! I haven't even like, this time's just gone by.
I love the vocal melody in this, and then the way that the guitar starts doing the same melody, like it was to die for. It really was. It's such a stylish song. And I think especially towards the end of this song, where it gets really like there's like this noise and this reverb on everything. Like there's a noise running throughout the track. It could be like a hum or feedback kind of sound, with reverb on everything, but it doesn't sound at all like muddy like you'd expect. It just sounds huge. It has like a huge sound.
It sounds like when dance producers put white noise in the bottom of their things just to fill out for a frequency spectrum and make things sound bigger. It feels like that, but it feels like it's done with amp buzz and stuff rather than just throwing a noise synth on there.
Any guitar work on that song, because most of it was like all of the backing when he's playing guitar was actually just more guitar parts. They all sound incredible, and the ambient guitar sound that he got was absolutely beautiful.
That sexy little pull off and hammer on he was doing on. Oh god, I love that stuff.
Yeah. And it had like a blues rock vibe throughout the whole song.
Yeah, with like an alternative kind of edge to it.
But it was really enjoyable.
Especially in like regards to his vocal work. He has this kind of like a faux falsetto thing he puts on quite all the time. It's like a high pitch, but it's actually he's actually a phenomenal...
Falsetto?
Falsetto, shit, I like that. Fist bump that shit. Fantastic song.
And it transitions really well into the next song.
Yeah, well, I just want to say one last little thing about the woman. I love at the end when he starts, he has this like awesome delay on his voice, and he gets all kind of like Robert Plant with it. It sounds just house bar. Sounds so good.
And then it transitions really well into the next song. Like when I was listening to him, and literally it felt like song hadn't changed. It's just into the next one. Northern Blues, another excellent song.
It had a good bass riff to it throughout the whole song.
Driving, the guitar and bass.
It had a really, every time that he was just playing one guitar chord, just strumming it, it was so wide. It filled out.
It was the guitar that was driving it, and the bass had this like, it was doing like this funky bass line.
Yeah.
Like underneath it. I wrote here like exactly what he said the opposite to. Like after listening to that song, I was like, this guy knows how to construct a song.
And I really liked the sort of, it wasn't quite like a typical chorus, but I really liked the sort of small chorus sections that you had in there, where it would be, driving, progressing, and then it would go into this sort of mini chorus and then come back out and be driving again, and do that a few times, like more regularly. I really liked it, and I thought it was really good. The only weird thing about this I noticed, I don't know if any of you noticed this, on the snare, sometimes there's like a weird, I think it might be some weird artifacting where it's like sounds like a sort of watery bit of a plop sound within the synth.
Yeah, I have heard that.
It's a bit weird, and that was one of the first things I noticed, which sort of started me on a like.
Is that right at the beginning of the song?
Strange. It's all throughout the song. It
doesn't happen on every
snare hit.
I definitely think it's intentional. It
sounds
like it's been processed.
But it's strange. I'm like I don't know if I like it, but that's the only thing.
I quite like
nitpicking that little random snare bit is the only thing.
It really fucked with the like ADSR of the sound.
Yeah. I felt as though he felt scared of doing a guitar solo in that song. It felt as though that particular song would have really benefited from having some sort of guitar solo. It had the vibe all the way through that there was going to be like, there's going to be a wicked guitar solo. Even if it's short, there's going to be something. But it never happened.
It felt like it was building up tension towards something that didn't come. So
well, that is a point actually. Throughout the album, he never goes crazy. It's all very tasteful, very kind of restrained, but really good. Mizzy
C. Slow and funky.
Slow and funkadelic. How do you feel about it?
Didn't like it.
You didn't like Mizzy C?
I didn't love Mizzy C, but I liked it.
The thing that I loved about Mizzy C was what I said at the start. He got the blues rock guitar sound spot on.
On point, yeah.
It was so good. However, the song itself and the structure of it, it was very much like a pop song.
Yes.
It was verse, chorus, a distorted bridge which is slower, into a double chorus to finish, and then a small outro. And that was it. It just felt as though the chorus was like really pop heavy.
Oh, the chorus was... I actually don't... I just remembered writing this. I disliked the chorus. It was too... It's like I'd heard that same chorus 1,000 times.
Yeah.
On other things. But I loved the verses and I loved the opening. And I think that's all there really is to say about that song. If I should go before you, is the name of the next song on the album.
Simple Slow Jam. I thought it was sort of alright, but I didn't think it went anywhere. I thought this was the first song I was here. I was like, okay, this album is human.
He went a bit more soulful on it.
Yeah.
On this one. I got the kind of like vocals reminded me a lot of Defamation of Strickland Banks by
Plan Bizzle.
Plan BD Debut. But I got the feeling like it was a really well written song, and the vocals were good, but I think it could have possibly been better if he got someone to like feature on the vocals there, like some kind of like screaming soul singer, like
maybe Plan B.
Bobby Womack. No, he is pretty much just Plan
Bring
B.
on P Bizzle, you know.
Yeah, I want to hear like a screaming eagle of soul of some kind.
The problem I had with that song, well, actually, it wasn't that much of a problem. Well, it was a bit. It was exactly like the previous song, but better. It followed the same basic structure. It had the same sort of vibe to it, although it was a bit more soulful, as you said. But I enjoyed it more than the previous song.
I think maybe
Mizzy
those
C.
two songs are sort of almost the same song, but one's funky and one's soul, and you just like whichever one you prefer.
Yeah, I'd give it.
You
that.
go with funk or soul, and then you pick one of those two.
But I
songs.
also felt as though in Mizzy C it wasn't funky enough to the point where I'd enjoy it, if that makes sense. Like it did feel more like pop than funk. It had funk elements, but
And it's interesting we're saying that where these two songs are sort of similar, because the next song, Killing Time, I felt like could have almost been an up-tempo version of If I Should Go Before You. Like the songs had a very similar style and a very similar sort of
didn't like
main
that one
melody
much.
bit. I felt like it was I Should Go Before You, but
I felt like it was just Killing Time.
I really liked the pre-chorus on that. I'm straight flying over that. I really liked the pre-chorus on it, and it had. I think this was one of the ones that had the best of him actually soloing. I think it had a pretty awesome solo on it. And
I thought that
liked
the
it.
solo was very simple, but the guitar sound was again spot on.
It all sounds great.
For what he was
I thought it was
trying
awesome.
to do with that solo, he got it exactly how he wanted it to sound. But I don't feel it was as though it was as interesting as it could have been. It was simple, but maybe
It
a
was nice.
little too simple.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no wasted love with that one.
Now we are on to
Oh.
the other, in my opinion, one of the best songs on the album.
Wasted love.
With the first one, I think I like it's just in all caps. It's just written here, just rad as fuck. Like the chorus was so cool.
I loved
big,
like
it was funky, it was hard hitting.
the little electric
Loved it.
guitar that makes up the end of like the riff. It's so. I wrote here, tasty.
This track was big.
This song has attitude, is what I put.
Words,
But
language,
I felt as though it could have easily been an Adele song.
vocabulary.
I wrote here it could have been a Black Keys song.
Oh,
I
well,
wrote-
they're like completely different.
I didn't write anything like that. I should have.
You should have.
I should just add now.
I
It
really
could have been
felt
a
as though it
Paul
could have
Robinson
been.
song.
Yeah.
It should have been taken off of Worlds, to be honest.
Well, when we get to Runaway, which is the next song on the track, we get into the country.
Country pop section.
Yeah.
This is where every song on here becomes, or almost every song on here for me becomes just country pop. And they're never bad or rarely bad, but they're just not that interesting anymore. They become very much what you're saying, verse, chorus, verse, etc.
Well, just how you love the sound of harpsichord.
I do.
I appreciate the sonic quality.
Slide guitar?
Yeah, the pedal steel
Yeah.
guitar. I love that sound, and it sounds fantastic on this record.
Yes.
It does.
Oh,
Yes.
when I hear that on some like Tom Waits songs, I die inside, but then I come back even stronger.
I felt as though it dragged on a bit, though. That's all.
Yeah, I feel like
the one song in this section of next like 4 songs that is a bit of an exception to me though is Map of the World. I feel like
did you like that one?
came in with sort of a bit of a Western feel with some of the guitar.
that's what I thought, but I didn't like
a bit
it
of a
for
Western
that
vibe,
reason.
and I really like.
That's
Western
funny
vibe
because I
guitaring
put that
stuff.
as the worst song on the album.
I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was great. It was nowhere near one of the best songs.
Did you notice
liked
the
it.
piano through it? It was genuinely playing 4 chords. Like,
It's okay sometimes as a backup thing.
No,
It
no.
definitely wasn't great.
through the whole song, it was just 4 chords. And
That's fair.
it seemed really
It definitely
pointless.
still fit into that.
I think
that
if you
country
got
pop
rid of the
style.
piano, it would have been just as good. If
Probably.
not better, because it didn't have the piano. But
I just wanted. By the time we got to sort of Map of the World, I wanted to go right back to Wasted Love with.
Yeah, too. I think after Wasted Love, it very much went down to all the songs being sort of average to below average
Yeah.
sort of things. The
So
two-
screw them songs then.
Yeah.
Friends.
I want to mention.
yeah. Okay, what do you want to mention? Huh?
Yeah,
Do you wanna-
what do you want to mention?
Do you want to talk about Friends? Because I was going to skip Friends.
That's what I said. Let's talk about Friends.
I think that's another sort of country.
I wanted to go
piece
to
of
Friends and talk about
I thought
Friends.
that
then.
Friends
I was
was
gonna skip that
my second favourite on the
I
album.
liked it a lot.
I didn't. I decently like this one. That's as much as I could bring to it. But I thought it was just another poppy country slow
It
jam.
really reminded me of the Eagles.
I got something that it reminded me of as well.
Step up.
The what?
Yeah, it had the vocals
Reminded
in
me of the
particular kind of sounded like. Was that actually what you put?
No.
Oh.
It reminded
No.
It reminded me of For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield
Ah.
with that natural harmonic.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I felt as though the vocals had somewhat of like an Ed Sheeran sound to them.
Yeah, I got that as
But
well.
also, it focused on the lyrics in that song. It really,
Oh, yeah,
it brought attention to the lyrics, and throughout the entire rest of the album, I was like, he's just saying lyrics to fill in the gaps. It doesn't really matter.
I felt like it
that's
progressed
a good call
quite
for the Ed
nicely,
Sheeran thing, actually. I think that might be the reason I like this one a bit more than some of the other sort of country pop tracks on it. Is that I might have got that quality and just been like, yeah, I like that.
It had
Yeah.
a decent outro, that song as well.
Yeah, it had a
Friends.
very-
I really liked the way this song progressed. It was like it had like a power ballad kind of thing behind it. It was making me do this throughout it a lot.
Is that what power ballads make you do?
Yeah. Make you breathe through your nose as well.
Blood.
Blood, I thought was I didn't think it was great, but
I
I thought
didn't
it was
think
a
it was
nice.
great.
I thought it was
Blood's the
nice-
last song on the
a
album.
nice
by the way.
closer. It had sort of a raw sounding guitar production. I thought it
I
was interesting.
fucking love the sound of that guitar. It
Yeah,
sounds like a
I thought
classical
it was
guitar as
pretty
well.
good. The strings and the piano was pretty decent. I thought it was nothing great, but it was a good ending, and it was very progressive.
I was really
liked how
expecting a lot
progressive
from
it was.
it because it was the second longest song on the album.
You were
By
expecting another woman.
about 15 seconds over one of the previous songs, it was the second longest song on the album. However, the last 15 seconds on Blood is just like a sustained sound, just like a guitar hum, and it's just sustained for 15 seconds. So it could have easily been just the same length as any other song. on the album.
It's one of my favourites on the album.
Mm.
Possibly my second or third
I felt
favourite.
as though it didn't bring the out. It felt as though it was building up to a big outro,
Hmm.
and it didn't give it to me. I
Okay.
really expected. I was like, okay, yeah, it's building up. I'm getting this. I'm getting this. It's building up.
I can go with that.
And then there isn't a big outro to like finish the album. It just goes back to how the song started, which was really slow and really simplistic, and then it kind of fades out from there.
It was very nicely progressive, but it didn't. You're right. It didn't really go anywhere. It progressed nicely and then didn't have that satisfying crescendo that a lot of the other tracks had.
But
And as a closing track, I really felt as though it really, if there's any song that really
should
needs
have
to
the
progress
big, yeah.
nicely and then have a climax.
I
I felt it worked well as the last track. But
I thought it worked well as last.
also, just as a note, I think it's one of the nicest sounding recordings of a guitar I've heard for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
In the opening of that track, so I'd give that a listen anyway. Favourite song on the album, Gareth?
I'm gonna just to be slightly different. I'm gonna say "Wasted Love."
Okay.
Just to be not different, Woman. Followed by Friends, but Woman
I'll-
far and away.
I'll take The Woman as well.
I think "Wasted Love," "Woman," and "Northern Blues" are I
Mm.
think my three favorite tracks on this.
Okay then, marks out of 10. Gentlemen.
I think this was an 8 up until the latter half where it got a bit weaker,
Yes.
and then I'd put it down to a 7.
Ooh, okay.
I think a strong 7, but a 7.
I thought that this was an 8 until track 2, where it became a 7.
Ooh.
Not saying that track 2 was particularly bad, but
Just
it was an
wasn't as
8.
good.
It
Okay.
wasn't an 8, so that brought it down to a 7. And then as I got further and further on, it brought me down to a 6. I'm going to give it a 5 overall. I'm going to
Wow.
mark it really harsh.
Okay.
And I do apologise for anyone that really enjoys this album.
Yeah.
I do recommend the song Woman highly.
Yeah.
Very
really highly.
Very highly.
But as an album, I wouldn't go back and listen to any other song.
I would listen to the
Well,
first
maybe
half.
a couple, but I wouldn't specifically go back for that song, you know.
I think I'm going to give it a 7. I don't know. A weak 7. I'm going to call it a weak 7.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Little teeny 7.
Yeah, just a little tiny one. Like right there. That'd be nice.
You just did that backwards.
Did I?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that one was a little bigger than the first one.
Oh well.
Oh well. Anyway, peeps, if you enjoyed our video, please could you hit that thumbs up button. It should be somewhere like, I don't know what it looks like. I'm probably doing that backwards as well.
He's never been on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, and then if you want to see some more videos of us, press the subscribe button. I've been Kit Campbell. He's been James. No last name. Gareth Grigg.
That's me.
Catch you later! Prediction. Cornel, go prediction, please.
Predictions. My predictions. I thought that you would like this more than me because I thought you're more of a guitar man than me. You'll like this awesome guitar work. You'll get into it. So I thought you'd give it an 8. I thought you would also like this more than me. I thought you'd give it an 8 as well.
Not far off.